So this is my 55-gallon bow front. I have about 7 fish, a chorus wrasse, a basilisk, 2 tangs, a mandarin, 2 clownfish, and there's a clam you can see, and about 13 corals of all kinds. Now, what I don't have is a protein skimmer or an algae scrub or anything like that. I run Chemipure and Purigen, a wee bit of matrix in the sump, probably don't need it. My nitrates measure 0.5 or 0.1, sometimes even less than that according to a Salifert test. You're seeing a lot of diatoms. That's because I'm doing a new algae experiment and it produces a diatom bloom at some point. Normally I have a little tiny bit of diatoms, not much. So I don't have a protein skimmer. Now I used to when I had 6 seahorses. In this tank the 6 seahorses require 30 mysis shrimp a week and they're messy eaters. So even with a protein skimmer and 15-gallon water changes and Purigen and Chemipure, I still couldn't keep up with the nitrates. I feel like people put protein skimmers in sort of reflexively and habitually, and if you need them, and they're great when you need them. But I don't think people always need them. When you have an appropriately seasoned tank with some live rock, I got about 55 pounds of live rock in here, I find I don't need them. Now, one thing to remember is these are complex systems, and we, the tank keeper, are part of that system. So I may have higher nitrates that are being consumed by algae that's being eaten by the tanks, and I don't see that algae, and I can't measure that nitrate. And I think the point is you want a happy, healthy ecosystem of which you're part. So for little money and little maintenance, this ecosystem seems to be relatively balanced. It's been this way since November, so that's about 8 months. And everything seems happy. Again, my point is only this. You might not always need a protein skimmer. If you do, use one. But if you start simply and are patient with a tank and get into a routine so that the system can stabilize with you part of that system, you may discover live rock and some time. And simple things like a little bit of Purigen or Chemipure might take care of it. And the advantage is it's quieter, it's less expensive, less things to break, and less maintenance time as far as I can tell. So if you want a protein skimmer, go for it. But I don't think one ought to necessarily assume you have to have a protein skimmer to have a happy, healthy tank.